الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, we were celebrating last night and today we are going to continue our narration about our beloved Palestine, and we came to the year 1948. The year what? 1948, which is very famous in our literature by what? The year of what? Al-Nakba, is that right? The year of the catastrophe, which I reject. I don't call it the year of catastrophe. I will start saying this is, or this year was the beginning of the ethnic cleansing for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. And by the way, the Jewish people, specifically the Zionists, they try hardly not to use that word ethnic cleansing. So if one of the authors, of the politicians, of historians would like to use this, he's gonna be immediately attacked because it means a lot. Why? Because what happened in Palestine for the last 15 months means ethnic cleansing. That genocide that has been taking place for the last 15 months, 45,000 people, innocent people, civilians, including women and children, were killed. You cannot say this is a war, it's a genocide. So what happened in 1948 was actually not just a catastrophe or a Nakba, but it was the beginning of the ethnic cleansing. Let's be clear about that. But before talking about what happened and why I do emphasize this idea of ethnic cleansing, let's state three major events with three dates. First of all, if you remember with me, the resolution of the United States of partitioning Palestine was issued when? Do you remember? The 181 United Nations resolution for partitioning Palestine. It was issued in November 29th, 1947. See the consequences, please, because we will talk about this later. Then, the British government announced that the British mandate on Palestine will come to an end in May 15th, 1948. So they would terminate the mandate. This is very important now. The Zionist agency and the Jewish people announced the establishment of the state of Israel on May 14th, 48. On the exact day that the last soldier of the British was gonna leave Palestine, the Zionists announced the beginning and the establishment of the state of Israel on the same day. See the consequences, and remember that because we are gonna refer to it later. But again, back to the ethnic cleansing. Was it just a matter of idea? No, brothers and sisters, it was very planned, very well planned. The documents say that the groups of military leaders and the Zionist leaders in Palestine used to meet weekly, every week, from February 1947 until February 1948. The last meeting for these groups, these small groups, was actually on March 10th, 1948. Planning for what? For ethnic cleansing. So what we are gonna talk about now has been already planned, and they used to meet weekly for a full, complete year, and when the time came, they did what they did. I'm gonna focus on four events very quickly. Now, the British are still where? Controlling Palestine. They didn't leave. On February 15th, 1948, we will start seeing the biggest massacres that has been executed and done against our brothers and sisters in Palestine. So massacres started. Now, remember, the militants, the Jewish militants, were almost weapon trained, and they have more than 40,000 militants in Palestine. And there is no weapons with the Palestinians at all, except, according to the stats, about 3,000 people tried to defend their country, their villages, and they were not well trained. Even I have watched some testimonies of the people who were attending that time. They are still alive. One of them said, my dad gave me 100 lira to go and buy a gun. And he said it has only 3 bullets. And when they used these guns, the Palestinians, he mentioned when you fire one bullet, the second one is stuck. So they get the weapon and they hit it by the rocks to get even the bullets out of it. But anyway, I just given you the example between the balance. There was no balance at all in number of people, the Jewish militants, and those who defended their country, even the weapons they had. But the massacres, or a series of massacres, started from that year, 1948, and before even the British soldiers or army leave Palestine. For example, on February 15, as we said, 1948, what happened? Those people attacked a town or a city called Al-Qaysariyah in Haifa. And they demolished the entire city. And they expelled 1,000 people of the Palestinian population of that city at that time. What happened after that? The very famous one, let me say, come to it, on April 9th of the same year, 1948, what happened? You remember? Deir Yassin, Madbahat Deir Yassin, the massacre of the city of Deir, or the town of Deir Yassin. But I want to say what? In this massacre, they killed officially, what is known officially now in the documentation of the United Nations, is 107 Palestinians were massacred and killed. For other narrations in other literature, we think they reached 254 people were massacred in Deir Yassin. And the house, the village was demolished, and the rest were expelled. This city was almost 2 to 3 kilometers from Jerusalem, or from the office of the chief of the police, of the British police. 3 kilometers from the office of the chief of the British police. When Palestinians went to them, they were still in control. He said, I have no issue in that. We don't interfere. And they left our brothers and sisters to be massacred in that city on April 9th. Moving very quickly, just I want to give you a brief idea. Massacres were dozens, but on April 16 to April 18th, some people say 18th, some people say 16th, but almost between 16 and 82 days. What happened? In the city of Tabariya, the British soldiers were preparing a month earlier from the termination of the mandate date. They announced it, 15th of May, and they prepared evacuating their places. So they commanded the Palestinians in the city of Tabariya to evacuate the city. The British evacuated this completely. They evacuated the city. 5,000 people left their homes. And the second day, the Jewish militants were controlling the city. It was delivered to them very easily by the British police. Whoever left to defend their cities, and by the way, many of them were actually Christians too in this city. Whoever left, he was killed. And some of them were captured or taken captives, and they were used to bury those who were killed. In some narrations of our brothers and sisters in Palestine who attended these massacres, they said they used to command, the Jewish militants used to command the alive brothers and sisters, or brothers from the Palestinian population, to dig their graves. dig holes. Then they kill them on it before they even die. So they dig their grave first, then they kill them, push them, and leave them there. In many of the cities, I'm just giving an example. How did they attack the cities? They were very well organized. They used to attack the cities from almost 3 sides. And they leave one side, for example, they attack from the 3 sides, and they leave the north open, no soldiers. So giving them a chance to what? To flee, to escape their cities. And whoever refused, our brothers who witnessed these things, they said, sometimes they take some of the youth, 14 and 15-year-old Palestinians, kids, getting them in the city, in front of everyone, execute them in front of everyone. So they are gonna frighten everyone to leave the city. But anyway, on April 21st, with the last soldier leaving the city of Haifa, they were controlling the city. The Jewish militants took over the city, and they evacuated the entire city. You remember, brother, or you know, brothers and sisters, how many in this city by itself, Haifa? 50,000 brothers and sisters from the Palestinian population were evacuated. 50,000. Then, by the end, or on May 14th, or almost a day before, or 2 days, they went to the city of Jaffa. You know, based on the partitioning plan that was set by the United Nations, the city of Jaffa was a part of the Palestinian lands. They even started taking the Palestinian lands. So they attacked the city of Jaffa, and they evacuated the city, and 70,000 brothers and sisters from the Palestinian population were evacuated and expelled out of their cities. Most of them ended to go to where? Let me just finish with this. This is the camps where our brothers and sisters left as refugees. One of them, the main thing, they left mainly to the north, to Lebanon and Syria. In Lebanon, that camp is called what? Ahmed Mawad. The Lebanon, the camp for the Palestinian refugees in Lebanon. Ain al-Halwa? There is Ain al-Halwa there or no? Ain al-Halwa, the main one. In Syria, we know it now, after what we have seen. Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk. In Palestine, in the West Bank, Jenin, is that right? And in Jordan, what was the name of the Mukhayyam? Wahdat? So these are just the main places where our brothers and sisters in Palestine were displaced to be, or to end up to be refugees in these countries around them. And of course, the city of North Gaza now. Jabalia, yeah. That was one of the first mukhayyamat for the Palestinian refugees in 1948. This is just nothing. If you come to the history of 1948, though when we are talking about that, we're talking about the catastrophe or a Nakba. It's not. It was the real beginning of the ethnic cleansing that was planned, and very well planned, supported by the British government. By the way, to end saying, the British left all the weapons, even the tanks, to the Jewish militants. So they left them everything, so to kill our brothers and sisters in Palestine at that time. اللهم انصرهم يا رب العالمين وأتم عليهم فرحتهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم أتم نصرك لهم يا أكرم الأكرمين وأتم فرحتهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم أعد إليهم أرضهم وديارهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم مكنهم من بلادهم يا أكرم الأكرمين واجعل لنا ولهم في الأقصى دارا ومستقرا في حين بعد حين يا رب العالمين إنك أنت الكريم. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب